Hello, royal family. Haven't called you all that in a bit. Welcome to the show. I'm Tracy. This is Thursdays with Tracy. We've got a lot to talk about. And as you can tell, I am running solo this evening. And so I'm trying to look here to see who's checked in. So we're gonna see. So I'm going to be solo today. That's okay. I'm a little bit better at being solo. So before I get started, I'm gonna try to get all my announcements out of the way. Please remember that September the 3rd, 2022, this channel is sponsoring a scavenger hunt online. The cost is just $15. That goes to helping me to buy better equipment. There is the registration link that will shortcut to the Eventbrite event. However, you can also go to my website at tracymediallc.com. Please like this page. Like this page. Once the recording is over, please share this page. And you can be my Patreon. If you're not my Patreon, I still am struggling to get to 10. I'm still at 5. So I just need 5 more of you to be my Patreon. And I promise a new show will be coming once I hit that 5 mark. Or once I hit that 10 mark, pardon me. Once I hit that 10 mark. Of course, I'm also asking that if you can make an extra contribution, I want to go to the Medicare for All March, July 22nd. You can cash at me at Tracy Media 74 with a $sign at the beginning. And of course, tomorrow is game night. I believe that's going to be at 7. I might move it down to 7:30, but we'll see. And that's exclusively for our Patreons, although you'll be seeing the broadcast of that live. But to get in the room, you have to be a Patreon to do that. So we'll have a lot of fun with that. So I have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to talk about a new book by, I'm going to get his name right, R.V. Vartine. I'm going to get his name right. Talk about the whole 2020 campaign and why I think the Democrat Party is a bunch of horse manure. I'm going to talk about the Democratic push to keep Title 42 for some odd reason. And I definitely want to get to the Darius Cooks situation, which some people are automatically going to say, oh, it's an old situation. And if I have some time tonight, I actually want to start it off with this. So normally on my Monday show, I do a top 5. So I want to know from anybody that's watching, what are the top 5 reasons that people don't vote? You could just throw them out there. If you can think of any reason, or no, silly excuses that people give for not voting. That's the topic. Silly excuses that people give for not voting. I don't see any check-ins. So we're going to proceed on to our first topic this evening. And I said it's a new book. So I'm going to start off by reading a quote because I had to get this. This really infuriated me when I saw it. So apparently the author's name is Ari Rabin Harvet, H-A-V as in Victor, T as in tomato. And this is in regard to Bernie Sanders' 2020 run. Not his 2016, but his 2020 run. Feeling betrayed. Why? Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Feeling betrayed. That's a good one. So I'm going to start off by reading this quote. So apparently this is a conversation that Obama had to Sanders. And I don't know if this has been verified, but if this is true, it's totally garbage. So the quote goes, Bernie, you're an Old Testament prophet, a moral voice to our party giving us guidance. Here's the thing though. Prophets don't get to be kings. Kings have to make choices. Prophets don't. Are you willing to make the choices? Now that sounds oh, he's got more. They say it doesn't matter. That's another good one. You already picked a winner. That's the one that really agitates me. What makes me so irritated about that? Well, here is my idealized world about how I think campaigns should run. And they probably don't. When someone decides to run for a president, either Republican or Democrat, the former person that was president or who came close to being president but lost shouldn't have a say in who gets to run. Like, you should, I don't know, there's these things called primaries that we have that so we can select who it is that we want. But here's what else is making me upset about this, and it proves exactly what I said. And so, like I said, I definitely want to get this book because it talks about how forces coalesced or teamed up. I think coalesced is the word that I want to use. How forces teamed up to make sure that Biden was the nominee. All of a sudden, if you remember in 2020, at the campaign, there were two people that were basically leading, Sanders and Buttigieg. Buttigieg was in worst case scenario second place. I still don't think he won Iowa, but let's just give him Iowa. So he won Iowa, and then Bernie won New Hampshire, and he won, I don't remember all four of the states, but I know he also won Nevada. So Bernie was on a roll. But Pete Buttigieg was still in second place. And all of a sudden, right after Bernie won Nevada, you saw Amy Klobuchar dropping out and Buttigieg dropping out. Now, what really concerns me is if you're in worst case scenario, you're in second place. Why is it that you're dropping out of the race? And no one has denied that Obama had a hand in this. And again, this really frustrates me because it just slaps in the face of the everyday voters. It's just like, okay, you're not smart enough to pick who you want, so we're going to come in and we're going to tell you who to pick, and I want you to get in and you to get in and you to get out. And then, like I said, they had that rally in Dallas, because I'm jumping all over the place because that's how angry I am. They had that rally in Dallas where Klobuchar, Buttigieg, and the guy that's running in Texas to be governor, the one that always runs for stuff. Oh, Beto O'Rourke. All of them flew down to Dallas or somewhere in Texas and all said, okay, we're dropping out of the race because we believe that Joe Biden is the one to lead this party. But if you remember, Joe Biden wasn't even in the top 4 until he hit South Carolina. He wasn't even polling anywhere near the top. He was maybe best case scenario 5th place. He was behind Elizabeth Warren. He was behind Pete Buttigieg. He was behind Amy Klobuchar. Some polls had him in last place. So if you are Pete Buttigieg and the worst position that you are is number 2, could you explain to me, if I'm number 2, why am I leaving the race and endorsing the person in last place? It didn't make sense until I got a hold of this book, or clips from the book. I haven't bought the book actually, because I'm like, well, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. You're in second place, maybe first in some polls, and we got a comment coming. Yeah, but I still disagree with that because, I mean, I see what you're saying, but it it just feels like someone who was the first African American president talked to Pete Buttigieg into resigning because it didn't, at the time, it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, well, you're in second place. Why are you getting out of the race? And then, if you remember, Elizabeth Warren stayed in the race, wouldn't put her support behind anyone. She purposely stayed in the race too long. That's why some of us don't trust her yet. We're still trying to see. But it, like I said, it didn't make sense until I started reading clips of this book and how people behind the scene who was the 44th president of the United States essentially said, you just need to get out of the race. I don't know what that conversation was like. I would almost wish I was a fly on the wall because I don't know what you say to a person to convince them, hey, it's not going to happen. We've picked this person and that's it. So let's see. We got some more comments coming in. It is a game. And I think that's what's annoying to me is that, like I said, in my idealized world, that's what a primary is for. That's exactly what a primary is for. We go in May. Most primaries are in May, except for Super Tuesday. But we go to the primaries and we say, you know what, we want this person. And then no matter who wins, they win. And they don't need this outside influence. But when you stick your thumb on it and then you speak in public about fairness, that's a contradictory. That's a contradictory message. You can't talk about fairness publicly and then privately you stick your thumb on everything to will force decisions to make your person the top person, even though clearly he was in last place. It frustrates me because this is another reason why this is number one point was, or second point, or third point was they already picked the winner. Essentially, that's what Obama was doing. He was saying, no, we've picked, or I've picked, because as the former president, he was still head of the party. So he's picked who he wants. Oh, just forget about me. I'm just out here voting for who I think is best. Poor little me, little citizen. And this is why, again, people don't want to vote. Because if you're pushing your thumb on who it is that you want, and who it is that you think is best, and who it is that you think, and I'll get to this a little bit later, in terms of who you want to win, what's the point of me showing up? I wish the public would wake up to that and just say, you know what, let's go third party. But I know it's not going to happen anytime soon. But there's also one more point that I want to get to before I move on to my next point. I want to talk about, I'm going to play what about isms right now. So everybody, excuse me. But I want to talk about what if Bernie had won the nomination in 2016 or 2020, either one. I'll pick 2020 because that's the most recent one. What if he had won the nomination? Now here you are having Biden in 2016 that chose not to run, and rumors have not been denied or confirmed that are saying that he was talked out of running in 2016 when I think he had a better chance. Instead, they went with Hillary Clinton, the most unlikable candidate you could possibly get, and then they expected people to vote for her like that was ever going to happen. It did, and then they lost. So He was ostracized in 2016, according to some reports. So he decides to run in 2020. If Biden had lost that primary and Obama hadn't stuck his thumb on it, that would have been a disservice to his legacy. Because if you watch interviews with this guy, oh, he thinks he was everything. He thinks he was everything: a bag of chips, a sandwich, and a soda with a piece of candy in it. You can't tell. I wish I had that much confidence. I wish I had that kind of swagger to myself. I realize I have shortcomings, a lot of them, but this guy, I'm like, dude, you've got something I wish I had. Um, it's amazing how he talks about what he achieved. I'm like, wait a minute, but that was like the Affordable Care Act. I'm like, that was just Romney Care, and and the premiums are high, and you made people have it, and you had to have the mandate, and then if they didn't have it, you would take their tax return. And okay, I guess you think this was good. Okay, some people say it's better than nothing. I say if it's not single payer, I don't want to hear it. But that if Biden had lost again, I'm gonna say it again. If Biden had not won the nomination, that would have been an affront to the Obama legacy. And I know, some people are going to be like, oh, no, it wouldn't. Yes, it would have. Because think about it. If we're going way back to the 90s, early 90s, when Ronald Reagan ran. When Ronald Reagan's term was up, George H. Bush, Father Bush, was the nominee. Could you imagine the disdain if he had lost the nomination? That wouldn't have looked too good on Reagan's legacy, although I don't think his legacy was that great. But hey, different strokes for different folks. Another thing you have to think about is, and this goes for both parties, I have a real problem with the corporate interest having a say. Again, elections should be based off of the will of the people, like actual people, the plumbers and the airline staff, teachers and firefighters and police officers, and um, people who work from home, call center agents, not some corporation sitting up like, okay, so we want this person because they'll get to our best interest, and we don't want this person because if they get in, it's over. That kind of thing shouldn't even exist, but it does, and I think that it keeps people from ultimately participating because essentially, again, you're choosing who the winner is. Why am I showing up if you're taking your thumb, pressing it down, and saying this is your nominee, whether you want it or not? Okay, done with that point. So, I'm trying to think. I know what I want to talk about, but I wanted to also address something, and that's to take a brief commercial and say, please like this broadcast. Comment. I don't have a lot of comments except for when I go live, so I would really appreciate comments. Share this with everyone that you can. It's really important if you could share. And of course, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, which may be like here or over there. It's one of those two places. It's not up there, but it's like somewhere at the bottom of your screen. It's a red button that says subscribe. Click that, like this, subscribe to the page because again, I'm trying to reach 100. I'm so close. I was stuck at 69 for months, and I got up to 74. So that's great that I have that, but I'm still aiming for 100. So I want to move on to the next topic at hand, and that is I want to talk about Title 42. And for those of you that don't know, Title 42 is a provision that was enacted by the Trump administration, if you want to call it that. And essentially what it did was it barred people from seeking asylum, who were coming from Mexico and Honduras and anywhere south of the border. Not Canada, surprisingly, and not doctors that flew over from white European countries, but okay, never mind. So it banned people from coming to America from south of the border, and you could not use asylum as an excuse for coming over. And if you were an immigrant, you were sent back. And the excuse was always, oh, this is due to COVID. And that was a bunch of malarkey. Well, essentially, the Biden administration kept that policy. They kept it, and they hadn't indicated that they were going to repeal it until recently. A couple months ago, if you remember, there was talk that that was going to be repealed. And everyone was, fairly glad about it because there are reasons why people are seeking asylum and to come to this country, mostly because we've messed up the countries south of the border. They have no resources, so they have to go somewhere. But I digress. So there was talk about, okay, we're going to end this. But all of a sudden, you have Democrats, and I'm going to look this up because I want to name these people. I want to call their names because to take this, I want to say racist so bad, but this is beyond racism. This is just hatred. This is just one of those things that I can't understand. And I'm trying to bring up the supporters, which is why I'm looking up my videos to see so I can tell you who the names are. Title 42 supporters. Oh, they don't name them. But there are several Democrats, more of the conservative piece of garbage Democrats, that want this to continue. And they are, of course, using the lie of, oh, it's COVID and COVID. Okay, let's just say that's true. And it is COVID why you're wanting people not to seek asylum or be immigrants. Why not stop all immigration? Why not send all doctors back who came over here to study? Why not send all engineers back or all people who are on visas back? This policy is so short-sighted that it amazes me that people haven't realized how silly this is. And you're talking about one of the people who wants this to continue is a Democrat from Delaware. Now, I don't live in the state of Delaware. I don't know anything about Delaware except for it's east of where I live. I don't know if they have a big, huge immigration problem in Delaware. Doesn't seem like they do. Seems like to me that wouldn't be a problem, but apparently, the immigration problem in Delaware is so bad that you're now trying to stop people from coming in, but you're saying nothing about the people who are coming in from Europe, maybe Canada, maybe, a more America-friendly country. I wonder why. I don't know. Pretty sure it might be racism, but I don't know. And again, this is another thing that frustrates me because some people, we know the Republicans are trash. Basically, they're just trash, they're trash, they're trash. But some of these corporate Democrats, the Joe Manchins, the Senator Coons, and Mark, what's his name? I forget. He's from Virginia. they might as well be Republicans. They have the same ideology. Um, they have the same racist tendencies. I'm like, what makes them Democrat? I always feel like there should be some type of, and I don't know if they call it, yeah, means test. Like if you say you're going to run as a Republican, you should meet certain requirements. Number one, you're racist. Okay, you're in. If you're running as a Democrat, a corporate Democrat, you're racist. Okay, but then you have a problem with the thing with the Republicans are you have a few that I don't even think, no, because she voted, I was going to say Liz Cheney, but she voted against the John Lewis Act, so she's not on the list. The Republicans pretty much are on point. They all will publicly say the same things in terms of their dissent. The Democrats, however, they have a huge problem. You have conservative Democrats like Coon and Manchin and Sinema, and then you have the very liberal wing of the party like Bernie Sanders and AOC and Cori Bush. They're all in the same party, and it's like there's got to be some sort of dividing line. And so for some reason I got a buzz going on. Let's see if I can get that. Hold on a second. Yeah, they're all allowed to be in the same party. So I thought that would be interesting to bring up. Last thing before I move on to the Darius Cook story. I don't see. I kind of do, kind of don't, because what I think I'm getting tired of is people saying, "Well, I'm a Democrat," and everything you're saying is against what I think the Democrats stand for. I don't know how you weed that out except by primary, but then again, the Democrats put their fingers on primary. So I think I wanted it, but then I realized, okay, it's probably impossible to do. So that's the yes, no type of answer. Unfortunately, it is, yeah, I don't like not giving answers, but I'm like, that's the answer I have to give. It's something I'm going to give more thought to. I'm definitely going to give more thought to. And I'm trying to get this buzzing sound out, so hold on a second. Okay, so we're going to see if I can get another pair of headphones out because these have a buzz in them. And I'm not sure why. So I'll be back here in just a second. It'll be just a second while I find a new pair of headphones. Okay, everyone. Sorry that took so long. I had to find a good pair of headphones, and these are worse. So we're gonna have to put up with this buzzing sound until I can go pick up some new ones. But I got a special. Yes. So there's no buzz on our side, on your side. I can hear it, and it's annoying me. Hello, Marlon. What's up? Do you hear that buzzing sound?
No.
I literally hear buzzing sound in my headphone.
I literally came on as you was walking off the camera, and I went, "What the heck is going on?"
I'm hearing a buzzing sound in my
I
headphones, and
did
it's
not hear
annoying
but
me.
that's no buzzing
Well,
sound
you
that I
missed
hear.
most of the show. I talked about. Well, you were probably watching, so I'll say you were watching.
No, I'll be honest with you. I literally ran upstairs, changed my clothes to jump on because I literally just got off work, and I'm a little perturbed for the reason why I had to be late for this, but it's done. So I didn't hear anything.
Well, I basically talked about a new book about how Obama is a piece of garbage. Then I went on to talked about something else. I'll have to watch the video later, but I got two more subjects that I want to talk about. And Steve says there's no buzz on his sound, but I'm literally hearing bzzz. I'm like, yeah.
I'm not hearing absolutely
Okay, well,
nothing.
good. You guys don't hear it. So I want to talk about Florida. Unfortunately, I have to talk about Florida. You know, we used to somehow not think of Floridians as Southerners. For some reason, we just separated Florida from the South. They're leaped right in there with Alabama and Texas and Georgia and all those other states. Two things about Florida. The Don't Say Gay bill fallout. Apparently Disney, who received special tax shelters from the state of Florida, is upset about the Don't Say Gay bill. And now Florida has passed a bill removing special privileges from the Disney Corporation.
Yeah. Now, this is how short-minded for the legislation is. So what happens is that Florida, not Florida, Disney World also have contracts in the billions with developers. So if you're decide to tax Disney World, they're not going to pay the developers. They can't pay the developers. Guess who taxes go up? Everybody in that area.
I see. I'm gonna
And
explain
I'm
it.
not talking about chump change. I'm talking about a good between 3,000 and 3,500.
And that's where I have a problem because, first of all, why would you grant a business like Disney? It's not like Disney is sitting here like, we need money to help our business. You're Disney. Okay, why do you
It's the,
need.
it's the equivalent of playing an NFL team the same way.
Yeah,
It's
and I'm like, do you really need the money? You really don't need it.
no, it's not that. It's the same thing as why Florida doesn't have a state tax. Well, income tax. I ain't gonna say state income tax because they make their money off tourism. What's one of the biggest tourism things in Florida? Disney World. That's why they got it. And now they finna shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, so let's just say they kick. They're not gonna kick. Disney is not moving out of Florida. Let's just put that.
No.
It's not gonna happen. But let's just play whataboutism again. And they moved. That's 80,000 jobs that just walked right out of your state. 80,000. So you're gonna.
Well, I even got one worse than that that I just read on Twitter. Ron DeSantis won governorship in Florida by 35,000 votes. Disney World employs 70,000 people. Guess what's going to happen in the next election?
Well, he'll be president then, so he won't care.
Uh, Yeah.
Oh, he'll run. He'll run.
He'll run. And if y'all still so bad at the Democrats, yeah, he'll win too. Yeah.
You know, I still disagree with that argument, but that's not the one I'm here to make. um, but the other thing that Florida has been doing is they have redrawn their congressional maps. And I don't know if DeSantis is racist. Hold on, I'm being sarcastic.
Oh.
Ronnie is about to. Yep, I agree because they're about to get a big old tax rate.
As soon as those contracts go out the window because Disney is not going to pay them, somebody got to pay them. It ain't going to be Disney.
I don't think he runs for re-election. I think he sets his sights on being president. That's where it's between him and Abbott. It's like the race for top of stupid heap. Like which one of them is going to get?
I'll give you DeSantis. Abbott is not even remotely close to. No. DeSantis is what we said what would happen if Trump was smart. That's DeSantis. Abbott doesn't think, he reacts. And DeSantis, on the other hand, is slowly becoming Abbott. If you don't watch it, DeSantis at the very least was very smart. And yeah, he was very smart and tactical in everything he was doing, except for this last thing where now it's starting to look like, okay, dude, now you're just doing things just to do things because you just said math books has critical race theory in it, so you're removing it. And even Fox was trying to say, okay, well, come on our show and explain it to us, and they still couldn't do it. And you know Fox will give you all the leeway in the world, and you still can't do it.
If the channel is stupid tries to help you, and you still aren't help, it's like, boy, you not on the bright train. You on the dumb train.
But see, Albert is reactive. Albert looks at his constituents, figure out the most racist, bigoted, homophobic thing that he could think of, and he has the power to will it. Is it smart? Absolutely not. And the majority of Texas knows this. But as long as his echo chamber agrees with everything that he's doing, he's gonna still do it. Now, when he gets out and I have to say this way, so I apologize to anybody from Texas that's listening. But if Albert start getting out in the real world, i.e., run for president, he don't stand a chance in the world.
Nope. I don't think he does, but hey, I didn't think Trump had a chance, and I misread that one. I was so wrong about it. I'm like, how did I miss it?
Trump literally messed it up for everybody else.
I was like, but I'm like, so I don't know anymore. I just literally don't. But two things. Well, one thing about the bill. Okay, so you can't say gay. Is he hoping people won't be gay? And like, if you say it, that makes you gay? Like, I mean, huh? What is that? It's
the whole concept of the bill is to go back to shunning the LGBTQ community. So if you can't tell anybody that you're gay, then you're right back. I hate to say it like this, but you're right back in the closet.
Exactly, but I'm like, if his ultimate goal is to stop homosexuality or any of the rainbow population, how does not saying it? I'm like, that doesn't. I'm like, okay, hold on. That's like telling a woman, hey, you can't say abortion. You can go get one, but you can't say it. What? That doesn't stop anything. That's like totally. It's like they're dumb for writing it. He's dumb for passing it. And somebody's not dumb enough, and the legislators in Florida are dumb for not taking him to court to get this overturned. So I'm like, it's a whole bunch of dumb going on in Florida.
Well, right now, first of all, don't worry about the rewriting of the map. That's been going in and out of court, in and out of court, in and out of court. This is like, I think, the third time they've restructured that map and everything else. They go to court, get it overturned, they start all over again. I don't know what they're doing. I guess they assume, and it's possible that it'll slip through one time and they'll win. So they'll take away 100 black people from a district. Okay, that didn't pass. So let's try 99. Oh, that passed. Okay, we're good now. We're good.
But if the opposing party were smart, all they had to do is frame this in, your vote is so powerful that you have idiots like DeSantis trying to pass laws to make it impossible for you to vote.
The only
if issue, you just frame it like that, you got it. Like he's trying to stop you from voting. So what you do, you go to the polls and you show him what it is.
The only thing the Democrats is I know their strategy and I hope it works. I just think they're just buying their time too long. The Democrats are not going to do anything now. And I think I said this before. The Democrats are not going to do anything right now because we live in a TikTok, now YouTube quick and all these other type things where you want to try to get your information in 15 seconds or less. So my question to you, Tracy, is the Democrats do absolutely positively everything you said. Bottom, no issues, nothing. Word for word, phrase for phrase, go to Virginia, kick everybody's butt, the whole kit and caboodle. Do everything that you said. How many of us going to remember when it comes around to the election time?
Probably not very many.
So why would they do it now? Why would they do it now? It was the same equivalent as what Trump did with Hunter Biden's laptop all of a sudden. And he sat on that thing until September. And it automatically popped up in September. Why? It wasn't because they just discovered it. It's because they knew that wasn't work, Tracy, because the left would just keep slamming the Democrats. Yeah.
No, but that's okay. He's not on here.
But so he brought it out in September. We just discovered it. No, you just didn't discover that. You held it because it's 2 months from election, and now you have 2 months of sound bites to use against everybody else, and it worked. So the Democrats was going to sit there and go, why would we use all our ammunition? You got to realize they got the one person on their side. I hate to say that, but it's true. You got the one person on their side that's finally telling them, okay, look, I'm corrupt. I'm a terrible person. All I want the Republicans to do is to go back to the way it was so I can make money off wars and everything else. So just listen to me and we'll be on the right track. Who said that? Cheney.
Yep.
And who are they listening to? Cheney. Because they're sitting there going, yeah, you're kind of right. Why would we use all our ammunition now knowing that over the summer and over the fall, everybody's going to forget everything they say. And I'm not picking on you, Tracy, when I say this, but they're going to go right back to the Democrats ain't done nothing. Well, remember what they did? Yeah, but what have they done lately? So why would they use this up? The summertime is going to wipe out half the stuff that they do now anyway. You're out having fun.
Yeah.
For the first time in 2 years. You think you're going to remember what they did now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to get into my last subject of the night. And I said I was going to talk about this person. But when I say Black Trump, I'm going to call him Darius Crooks because that's who he is allegedly. Darius Cooks, or Darius Williams, better known as Darius Cooks, is an Instagram chef. He's based out of Atlanta, Georgia, I believe. And what he does is he gets on Instagram and he does these cooking instructional videos like most chefs do. But he hosts these dinner parties at different people's homes or different Airbnbs. Problem is that one of the problems is it costs about $200 to $300 to attend for one person. Second problem is that the Airbnbs that he's renting has specific clauses that say that you can't use an Airbnb place to host an event that has more than 8 people. And he's hosting 15 and 16 and 17 people. Third problem with Darius Cooks is when someone gives him a bad review, he didn't take it too. I mean, he literally, in one report, someone said, I ordered a product from you and I didn't get it. Where is it at? He don't only put her family on Instagram, he put the family's address, show pictures of her children. And the fourth problem that I'm having with this whole Darius Cook story is that he is being investigated for having side businesses that scam people. Now, I don't know if you've heard about this story. No. So this is where I'm just going to rant on and on and on.
No, I don't know anything about it, but I don't see no difference between, excuse me, and I can't remember the guy's name, probably because I blocked it out, probably because I just don't care enough. But the guy that's on YouTube that insults women every time they call in and talk big crap and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Being investigated means what? They're looking at him.
Yeah, they're looking at him and his business dealings.
Hey, how you doing? That's pretty much all they do. But the guy that's on YouTube that people still call in to, I guess just to be insulted, because that's pretty much all.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that gives love advice. Oh, the little short guy. Yeah. Oh, and, audience, help me out. I know who you're talking about. I see his face. Samuels.
But my point is, but people still call in. He's a terrible person. Oh, he's just bad. Oh, and people still call in. Oh, he shouldn't did that. That's just me. That's just terrible. And people still call in. So this guy's no different. So what? He's been investigated.
But
so
Marlon,
people still go to watch his Instagram.
But Marlon, you put her baby. All she did was say, "Hey, my product hasn't arrived." And you put the baby's pictures on Instagram with the address. Now everybody knows what that's.
Absolutely awful. That is terrible. That is just disgusting and terrible. And we live in a society where people eat that up.
But the babies.
Tracy, you can repeat it all you want to.
You don't do that. There are things when you're on social media.
Yep.
You should have some sort of rule boundaries that you.
Your rules is based off of your income.
My rules are based off of what I believe. I don't care how much money Tracy Media has. Somebody gives me a bad review, I'm going to find out where they live. I'm going to put, not that I ever use Instagram, I'm not going to put their address on Facebook like this person gave me a bad review. Okay.
First of all, let's get one thing perfectly clear to anybody that's listening to this show. I'm not paying $300 to go eat anywhere. Unless I know this is a chain that has been known worldwide for everything.
Oh, but
Chris or something like that. I'm not spending $300. I don't trust Instagram. And I apologize for that because I guarantee you there's a reputable people on Instagram. There's a reputable people on TikTok who are busting their butt each and every day. Unfortunately, you just have some people on there who are scammers, who are just terrible people who don't care about ripping you off, taking your last dime, embarrassing you in public, putting you in danger, anything. Their morals and values is based on the bottom dollar. And that is it. How do these people sleep at night? On a mattress full of money.
Apparently, because I'm like, it ain't that deep. Not to be putting the babies out there. They didn't even do nothing. Like, if you're mad with her, you know what you could do? You could pick up the phone and say, oh, I'm sorry, your product. And she's not the only one. She is definitely not the only one, because when I was doing research, I actually researched this one because I wanted to see, like, how far. I did research on this one. His former employees. Well, let me backtrack. So he had a couple of restaurants in Atlanta that closed all of a sudden. also being investigated because he decided I'm going to close, not tell anybody, and I'm not going to pay those people. Can't be doing that to people. Cannot do that. You got to close a restaurant, okay, but pay them people what the service that they provide. But he had several of his employees who he would go to and say, you know what? I can't get this Airbnb to rent. Can you go on there and use your account so that I can go into this place? And then basically proceed to trash the place. And so the person that rented it, they're now the one stuck with that bill. And do you think that he said, oh, here's the $10,000 that these people are charging? I think we all know the answer to it.
And this is well known.
I knew about it maybe a couple of days ago.
Okay.
But apparently, this type of thing, he's been doing this for years.
And people still doing it.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I think he has like 1.5 million followers on Instagram, and then 100 or a few thousand on Facebook. And I'm like, but people, he's literally scamming people. Are you that? It's like where's your
what, morals and values?
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm like, wait a minute.
Look at what they're looking at. You're looking at somebody who's a scammer, who uses people. Yeah, they're entertained by this. They're not upset. They're purely entertained by this.
I'm upset because if you had people, if I owned a restaurant, okay, I can't cook worth squat, but let's just say I owned a restaurant and the restaurant has to close. The first thing I'm doing is telling everybody, hey, it didn't work out, but here's your money for what you put in. I'm not just going to close the restaurant, disappear, not answer calls, and just be like, oh, well, that's what happens. I mean, but you know, when you know somebody is scamming you, you can clearly see the signs of it.
And once again, Samuel is still on YouTube insulting every person that comes on that radio station on his YouTube show, and people are still either gullible or stupid enough to keep watching him or keep calling in. It's not embarrassment. For most people, it's just their entertainment.
You know I started this show because I wanted to talk about love and hip hop. And then it just kind of morphed into what I'm talking about now. I like to be entertained. But not when people suffer. That's not entertaining to me. That doesn't give me any kind of, they didn't get a paycheck.
It does. I agree with you. I don't find insulting people and everything else very entertaining. I looked at some of the comedians that's out there right now going, well, I guess I'm never going to go back out on the road and entertain anymore because we're in the woke stage of the world now, and I can't entertain without somebody trying to cancel me and everything else. And when you start looking at those entertainers and realize that the majority, even a slight majority of their entertainment is insulting the audience. So if you take away your insulting of the audience, was you funny to begin with? Or was you really good at playing the dozens?
I understand.
That's it.
Well,
that's it.
So, definitely thank you for coming on, as late as you did. But thank you for coming on. So we're gonna end this a tad bit early, but again, I want you all to drop a couple of dollars, and I wish Ann was watching because I missed her donation, so it's gonna fly back to her. So I'll have to let her know to send it again, and I'll deposit it. I didn't; it just kind of sat there, and now it's gone. But that's okay. Any little help, any amount will help me. I really want to go to the Medicare for All March, July 30th, 2022. I'm almost there. Like, I'm almost there. So anything would be appreciative. Marlon, tell everybody where they can find you.
Saturday Night Vibe every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Radical Truth to Power every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on every system, whether I'm probably listening to it or not.
Everyone, I want to remind you to also support Theus's I'm gonna get this right. Complex Mind Simple Man. Patreon. I didn't link it because I forgot to, but I'll link it next week. I promise I'll link yours too, Marlon. But I want to remind you to remember to like this video. Please like it, share it, subscribe, support me on Patreon. And remember, if you are a Patreon, in 5 minutes, we are going to have a discussion that you can jump in on. And that discussion is, which piece of chicken is the best piece of chicken? We'll see you there in 5 minutes, and we'll talk to you all next week. Have a great evening.